it's Dr. K. So instead of keeping to a theme this month, I'm going to tell you about a few of my favorite things of October. One, it's grant season writing time, and I know that for many people in graduate school, as well as professors of chemistry, we all take this time to write grants. This is a weird world I'm living in. So, once upon a time, I had to write some proposals for a job. And then I got to my job, and then I had to write them again. That's what grant writing is like, is the never-ending Groundhog's Day loop of writing stories. Also, I got to teach my first lecture. I subbed in for a professor, and I got to teach organic chemistry, which I love. I love organic chemistry. And in it, I got to talk about reaction coordinate diagrams. So if you haven't heard about reaction coordinate diagrams, these explain and kind of plot out the energy required to go from reactants to products of any different chemical reaction. And it usually isolates one step, so one step of that whole reaction. And so we got to talk about the interplay between thermodynamics, which is what happens when products and reactants are in equilibrium, and then also kinetics, so how fast reactions go. And so as I'm talking to this class about catalysis and how fast things can go and how quickly thermodynamics works and how the two interplay, I kind of thought about life and how sometimes you can, at equilibrium, you've got a good idea of how much things need to happen and you've got a good progression. But then there's like kinetics and whether or not you get sleep or you're a sane person, then maybe those things can happen faster and more productively. I'm not sure what the catalysts are in my life, but I'm pretty sure it's like sleep and eating well. I think those are good general catalysts in my life. The other thing that's important to know for a catalyst, so anything that will make a reaction go faster, is that usually it changes the reaction progression or the way that it looks. So usually when you see these reaction coordinate diagrams, there's kind of like a hill that it goes up and then it smoothly goes down. And when you have a catalyst, it looks kind of like a squiggly line because the catalyst interacts with all the different intermediates along the reaction pathway. And I think that my life is more similar to a reaction coordinate diagram that includes catalyst, because smooth progressions of life are a dream that has not been met yet. And I definitely will give you a high five if that is your life, this smooth line of beautiful thermodynamic equilibrium that didn't need a catalyst and everything was wonderful. So another thing that I got to do is, after many, many years of soliciting recommendation letters from an amazing mentor in my life, I finally get to write a recommendation letter for this mentor. And I have to say, this is one of my favorite things that I've been asked to do, because it's apparent that my life had been changed dramatically by this one person's influence, and to be able to say thank you in a way that could potentially highlight this influence on my life is one of the best ways that I can imagine being able to say thank you. Which reminds me that it probably would do some good to say thank you to other mentors in my life, because I think mentorship is really important. It's influential. You don't know the influence you're going to have, but you could potentially kind of offset someone's life for the better just by being a good mentor and just by listening and just by saying, hey, I think you've got promise. I think you can do this. Those are the things I want to say. I hope you have a good November. I do hope that's true, and that your year is wrapping up really great, and I will see you next month. Okay, bye. Hey, you thought you were done with me, but you're not. So there was too much to be said this month, so as a bonus, we're dividing it into 2 Say Hey Dr. K's. So if you want to follow the clip, I have a couple more tips about grant writing and personal statement writing, because October was full of that.